Floral Design by Heidi. I'm gonna now show you how to make the bud vase that I was talking about for proms, or just if you have a date night. It's a great little vase, really very simple, and any glass will do. So if you don't have the bud vase, or you don't have this type of container, do remember all vessels hold water. That being said, you can create some beautiful designs in all kinds of containers. Especially I like to upcycle espresso cans and leave little notes for my husband, because I'm an avid coffee drinker, that I espresso my love to him. So don't be afraid to get creative. It is prom, let's have fun. My husband's favorite flower is the red rose, so I'm gonna be using that for us tonight. We're gonna need 5 full-size red roses. You would like 1 piece of greenery. This is Italian ruscus. This rose here is called the Freedom Rose. It is a very large head on this rose. I'll compare it to my wine glass so you can see. Look at that. Nice shapes together. And then there is Gypsophilia. You may need 1 to 2 stems depending on how full they are. If I separate those, you can see. And you want to kind of gently pull them apart so they don't lose their little buds. These are called Gypsophilia, also known as baby's breath. Cats do like them. Please, if you have cats, do not bring that in. They will like to try and eat it. Next. Ask your florist to dethorn the roses for you if you're going to your local florist. If you're popping into your local grocery store, then go ahead and make sure that you have the proper tools for dethorning these. As you've seen in some of my other videos, check those out. You're gonna wanna be careful. Have some garden gloves if your fingers are sensitive to the thorns, or some heavy vinyl gloves to deal with those. So the style is very easy. Take a look here with my bud vase. We're gonna put that right in front of me. And I'm gonna zoom down just a little so you can check that out. And I'm gonna need a pair of scissors. I have my whole table here decked out for us, just decked out for us. And you're gonna take your roses first, measuring against the container. You all just want them sitting on top of the container, so you can see where do you want your first rose to hang out in there, and that'll give you just about where you should trim the rest of them when you place this together. You're gonna clean off the petals. You can also set them aside if they are looking really nice. That one's torn, but there are grower petals on there that usually have mar or bruising, just like produce. It is a produce, it's fresh. And then you can set those aside for decorating later if you'd like to do so. So please take the petals and put them on the side for decorating later. You'll see, you'll thank me. Okay, and so again, just take off the leaves. Go ahead and take off the petals. Keep your petals on the side to reuse later. You might want your leaves for later. Again, just cleaning all those pieces. Keep your petals. Clean off these pieces down here, okay? So they're out of the way, you can set them aside. If you want to use them on your tablescape later, which I'll be showing you how to assemble these pieces together. And then you're just making a nice round bouquet of those. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So kind of make it a little tighter. You can let that sit out there for you. If you find that you want 6 for a little bit more roundness, you can add another one. If you are getting more, that's okay. Like that. Makes it slightly more round because you have the one in the middle. You can also do this with 3. That's how it looks with 3. Okay. You like a little, you like a lot. It's up to you. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you with the 5 because I think that looks nice and full for a cute little small dinner. Go ahead and cut the stems short enough for that container. You cut the one and measured it earlier, so that should fit just fine in the container there for us. Alright, and then you just simply place those in the vase, just like that. See, water is up here, stems are down below, so they're going to make sure they touch all the water. Make sure you leave the stems long enough so they keep drinking at the end of the glass so you get all the water. Okay, now we have the baby's breath, Gypsophilia. You can go ahead and place those in little angles if you would like to do so. Now I call these laterals. It has one stem, right? But one stem has several pieces or shoots that come off of there. Using those longer laterals, we're gonna now cut that into 3 usable pieces. We have a rather shorter container, so that really works in our favor because it can go a long distance as far as spreading out using only one stem. So you'll go ahead and measure for the height, and then you can insert those pieces as I was showing you. And then even this one is long enough that I can even cut that one now into 2 pieces because we have a rather short container. And as we go here, I'm gonna keep turning that for you so that you can see the roses and the flowers as I'm putting them in. Let me show you on this side. Coming in at the edge of the vase here, inserting them at the edge, just like that, okay? Yep, just like that. Same thing on this side, looks a little vacant, so we're going to put a little on that side, making sure you hold the vase with one hand so that it doesn't tip or wobble. Always a good idea. We'll be wearing our designs later, but we don't need to wear the water. All right, so just a cute little design there, and I don't like how tall that one is, so I'm gonna give him a little haircut. Now it makes it nice and round. Cute little pieces there. Now we can take several pieces of this one. We were just talking about this being a lateral stem. You can also bisect these into multiple pieces. So you can cut them into multiple pieces to use. Making sure that the place where you cuts in a place that isn't very obvious because you don't want sharp edges of flowers appearing. Set your greens aside. You might want them for your boutonnieres. And if you like your greenery in there, it can be kind of a nice little woodsy accent in there for you to have. And always turning your work as you go. And I've cut those now into several pieces there. You can see how they're just kind of going in between, holding with one hand. Don't wear your work, not the water at least. And then inserting those in, you can split that and then insert that in between. And it just gives it a little bit more life and size as you're looking at that right there. So just a cute little centerpiece, can fit on pretty much any tabletop. It can be a high boy or a small table or big table, any table. The point is it's going to be beautiful and it's going to be the centerpiece of your tablescape. So I'll show you that in just a little bit. Hello, Kimberly with Floral Design by Heidi back, here to show you our second centerpiece option. You're going to be making a sunken rose. And this is inside of a 10-inch cylinder, glass, round cylinder, needs top, bottom, vessel, holds water. So a cylinder which holds water about 10 inches tall is a good idea. You're also gonna need a Freedom Rose. That's this beautiful red rose. We've selected those because they happen to be my husband's favorite. And, you know, classic elegance. We also need some grass. If you can get them, you can use bear's grass, you can use lily grass, some type of nice long grass from your floral shop or that you can gather will be nice. You also need some rocks. You can use red acrylic rocks like we are doing. Okay, very gorgeous looking. Or you can use another color. You can also use fish gravel, and you can use the gravel that you found down at the end of the driveway, so long as it looks clean and wonderful, and get creative with it. But you're gonna need at least 1 to 2 inches of rocks in the bottom, right here, to fill, to anchor your flower into. Very important. You're gonna need the rocks to make this design work. Last, you're gonna need tape. Now, if you've been to your florist, you can ask for the double-sided sticky tape, or also known as dashes, Oasis stickies. Or if you're like me and you didn't have any, you can take the piece of tape, you fold them into itself, just like that, a very small one, and you can now make your own sticky. When you curl them into yourself, now you have tape on the front, tape on the back. You're gonna go ahead and place one at the top of your vase and one about 1 inch down on the vase from the bottom of the vase. So 1 inch, I guess, up, 1 inch up from the bottom of the vase there, just like that. You can measure that by a knuckle if you'd like to do so. So now you can see somewhere like that. Then you're going to take the bottom of the greenery and trim that off. I use about 4 pieces or so, just to make sure I can get them all to stick to the sticky that I'm using. And I line them up just like that. I am then going to take them and I'm going to push them against the vase where I've put my sticky. Just, can you see this? Just like this. And push down. Now that tape is going to help me in holding them. That one got away. It's okay. Just like that. Then keep a hold on it so it doesn't spring if he's having 1 or 2 who's giving you a hard time. Take your wire. Babaloo says hello. He just come back from walks. He's having his own kind of prom party tonight. Gonna trim those pieces that are causing a scrape down the bottom there. Going around the vase with the wire, holding with one hand and going around with the other. Just like that. Going around maybe 4 or 5 times. You just want a nice little band of wire on there. You can use gold, you can use silver. This comes in either. This is called bullion wire again. It's a beautiful wire because it has the crimps in it, looking a little bit like ramen noodles, golden ramen noodles. But when it comes together, you see it gives this very fine line here. Oh, pardon me, see this is a part of the process here. You're gonna turn the wire into each other so that it's gonna hold your wires down. Can you see that? Let me make sure you can see that. There we go. Now we have it. So holding that, you have a wire that's on this side and the wire where you started on the other side. Go ahead and twist them into each other nice and tight. My husband's making funny faces at me. Babaloo! You want to say hello? There he goes. All right, Babaloo's ready for prom night. Then we're gonna wrap the grasses around, leaving a bit of a wave here towards the bottom. Whoop, wrapping them around, see how that's making a nice little tight look there. And coming back towards the top, over the glass, and then up to the edge there. And now we're going to take our bullion again, holding on to the vase where that tape is, making sure they're staying. You want to hold that circle you've just attached. See how it's curving around the glass? And you're going to take the wire and go over the grass on the top here of the rim, like you were tying down a wine glass. Just circle around like you're running your finger around a wine glass. Keep going around and going around. You want to go 4 or 5 times, like I said, so you get a lot of that texture from that beautiful gold wire, or silver if you selected silver. You can also do this with a wire that is green wrapped. It would have a natural vine look to it when you are finished. But if you like this glammy accent of this ribbon or this wire, then it is something nice to have. You can see it will try to spring loose on you. So you have to make sure you keep one hand on it so it doesn't try to jump away. Oh, and see, sometimes it springs all the way off. That's okay. Start over. That's okay. And if you need extra tape because that one area isn't doing it all for you, that's okay. Add another piece. Fold it over to make the double-sided sticky. If you have a dash, go ahead and place the dash down. See? We're going to place it on this side so it'll hold these pieces of greenery down for me and I don't have to fight it so hard. There we go. A little on this side, a little on this side is held for me now. Woo! It's getting fun in here and springy. Trying again with the bullion wire here. It is a bit of an exercise, this one. So do be brave, be patient, be kind to yourself, drink wine if you're able, and your bagel. If this is mom doing this, God love you. If this is dad doing this, God love you even more, good job. If you're a neighbor just looking out for your prom goers this year and trying to make it special, or a friend doing this, also, you're amazing. It is a fun thing to create. And remember, every design is always going to look a little bit different than the last one. Even if you have everyone in the same room using the same kind of product, each one's going to look a little different than the next. So, sorry, struggling with the wire here today. Okay, now we've got a grip on them. Going around to finish that loop. Goodness, I've never had this much trouble with this wire. It's because I curled it up already. Trying to keep all the bullion in one spot. If you need to retwist it as you go by the place where you're holding down the ribbon, you can retwist that. So I'm holding it here, as you see, and every time I'm circling by, I'm gonna go ahead and twist it so it'll hold it for me even better. And I'll just twist it around itself and keep on going. Twisting it around itself. See? Like that, under, twist, keep going around. all the way until now this is holding itself and we're looking good. So we're gonna go ahead and finish this off by just twisting it to itself one last time. And go ahead and trim the excess wire and push the little piece back that would be sticking off. So now you can see how those pieces are flowing around that, and if you need to adjust any of these on the bottom, go ahead and do so. You can kind of pull them or move them so that they're sitting flush on the bottom there with the bottom of the glass. Next, we are going to add about 2 inches of water, because that's how much rocks we're going to have. So you can see it's going right up to the wire. Then you want a soft place for your rocks to land. So you're gonna go ahead and start putting them in sideways and lightly let them sliding down to the bottom. The water is gonna ensure that your glass does not break. Do not do this with an empty glass, it may break. Please be careful. So, sliding those down. Beautiful acrylic rocks. Are you guys feeling in the party spirit yet? I hope you're feeling in the party spirit. Dance the night away. Great food. You know, all those things that we like about prom. Okay, and I have a little bit too much water, so I'm gonna go ahead and take just a wee bit out. And I'm okay with that there, because you don't want your rocks floating. You really want them to be an anchor in there. So that's very important that they're not floating, because the acrylic rock will float, but the water just comes up to, you can see that, the water just comes up to the top of the stone, see? But not floating, so they're gonna look still. Next, you're going to take your rose, bring your arrangement close to you, and measure for the bottom of the glass where it ends here, but not for the lip of the glass at the very bottom of your cylinder. So you want it to be below this line over here so that you can see the rose in the center. So see how I'm positioning that there, so it's going to come along here when you place that in the container. And go ahead and cut now for the bottom. Now if you'd like to use a piece of the baby's breath, you can go ahead and do that. Otherwise, if you don't like the baby's breath in there, you can exempt it from the design. If you have a little bullion wire left over, go ahead and give it a little tie here. Otherwise, you can place that in there, but it kind of helps so that it doesn't tip around inside the base. And give it a little trim. Now we're going to anchor your little bouquet you made inside to the rocks. Just like that, give it a little shove. And I think mine is still too tall. I really want to see it more towards the bottom so that the greens are not hiding that really pretty and big rose. So I'm going to cut a little more off. And again, placing that down further, you can see now a beautiful rose on the inside. If you like it a little shorter, go ahead and make it a little shorter. I think I still like it shorter because I really like mine to feel sunken and inside of the base arrangement. Remember, it's better to need to take some off than to have to put some back. So make the cuts accordingly while thinking about that. There you go. And now you've got the beautiful rose inside, and you can kind of see him sitting in the middle with all these nice greeneries making their way around the vase. It's a really fun tropical style with this whimsy grass and just a beautiful party arrangement. So something beautiful for your prom or your date night. Do enjoy. Hi, Kimberly with Floral Design by Heidi again, here to show you how to make your corsage for your prom night or for your date night. You're gonna need a spray rose. You're gonna need at least 5 to 6 blossoms. It depends on how big you like them. So keep that in mind. You're also going to need a ribbon. I've chosen white ribbon. Let's see, 5/8 inch is a great size to use for this project. This one has an edge on there with a sheer in the center. Here are our spray roses, and you will also need some type of wristlet. Now this one is a very common, inexpensive wristlet. You can get those at your different craft stores. You can also get them at your florist. And these ones are easy to change the sizes on as well. So at some point I could show you changing the sizes on this if you need to do so for someone very petite or a small child. This has a nice stretchy band on it, so you don't have to worry so much about the sizing. There are those other Fitz bands that have the keepsakes on them, so you can have jeweled, you can have beautiful pearls. If your date is going to be wearing pearls, please keep it in mind when you're going in to see whether or not they're going to be wearing gold, silver, pearls, different accents that you might be able to dress up your corsages with so that they match your lovely date. They go through all that effort to make them look oh so beautiful that night, and we want to make sure we have all the fine details for a very special prom and date night. That being said, you also need baby's breath if you would like to have it. So first things first, starting the base of your corsage. You're going to need to have either the Israeli ruscus, or if you did not get the Israeli ruscus, you can also choose some nice hardy, smaller size leaves from your rose petals, but the other types of greenery, they do hold up a little bit better. If you're making this just before your event, you'll probably be fine. If you're gonna make it a little bit ahead of time, you're gonna want a green that's a lot more hardy, like the Italian ruscus. That being said, that is the one that I prefer, and that's what I'm going to show you today. Let's go ahead and take a couple pieces. You're going to put them inverted like that. Take your wire, I'm going to add one more piece of greenery here so I have more fluff to hold on to. Right there in the middle, just like that. Go over those greenery right between the fingers. Pull the wire through the other side, making sure your stems are doing the work and not too much on you. Twist the wire. Twist, gently twist, don't hold it too tight. We don't want to snap the stems. And then go ahead and make sure you trim that piece of wire off on this one. It's important for this one that we trim it off. The other ones we're going to keep. Now I get to show you the joy of building a bow. So, nice, long, beautiful piece of ribbon. Go ahead and take about a little tail there, so it kind of will hang off the wrist just like that, little delicate accent, and twist the ribbon with one finger, holding in between the index and the thumb. Push this piece like this, bend, push into the thumb and the index finger, bring it back again, making little bunny ears on each side. Gonna want to have about 5 or 6 loops on each side. If you run out and you cut it too short, don't worry. You get the pleasure of having the extra accent on the little tails you've just incorporated. Then you're gonna spin and finish out your loops, incorporating them the same way, just like that. And the last one, and give it a little trim. And now, another cute little curly ribbon coming off there. Take your wire, put that under your thumb, going through like this, see? Push this under the index finger and pull the bow. See, you're holding with your index and your thumb. Now you're pulling it through the thumb over here. Hold your ribbon like that. Spin the wire into each other, and now you've got a bow. So you can see how that will sit and hold those flowers for us with our Oasis glue. As we make that bow. And then we take our little greeneries and we attach that in the middle. So make sure your wires are nice and open. See, one coming out this side, one coming out this side, and then we're going to wrap it around the middle of that greenery. So now we have a little piece to place those roses into. And spin just like that, wrapping it around the other one and making sure you keep the wire. Next, you have created your base. Now to attach it to your wristlet, you have to attach the base to the wristlet first before you assemble the flowers onto it. This is important because otherwise your flowers could come apart when you try to bend these pieces in to your flowers. Keep it in mind. It makes it much easier. Take your floral adhesive, okay? Comes in a tube like this. Always make sure you keep the top nearby. Put down something on your table so it doesn't get everything gluey. And keep the top inside the box. Go ahead and take the glue, roll it up and give it a little squeeze, and you're gonna place that right there, just like that. Now give it a second to make it a little bit tacky. Because this is a liquid glue, you're gonna give it a second to kind of hit the air and get tacky, and that will help when adhering to the wristlet. Put the lid back on when not in use so it doesn't dry out and it doesn't spill. Queen of spills over here. So now we're going to, yep, it's gotten a little tacky. See, it didn't even take very long there. We're going to line these up. Now this is the lateral line on this, so we're gonna go ahead and follow that horizontal. I'm sorry, that's the horizontal line in it. You're gonna have it on the wrist like this. So that's how we're attaching the wristlet on the back. See how that lines up? Just keep that in mind when you're doing that. Then we're going to push the bow and the greens back into the container, holding that center between the thumb and the index again, and wrapping these metal pieces into the greenery. So you're gonna wrap it in just like that, around and into the green. See how it's clipped in there now? So it's gonna make these little clips, and you can move pieces out of the way, fold them over so that the greens are still gonna stick out. Fold it over just like that. You can see how they clip into each other. That is how it will look when it's folded in. Then you're gonna do the same thing to the other side, moving the bow aside, clip around the greens, clipping around the greens. Oops, I want my other green in there. It got out of my way. Gonna move that back in. So you can see them hanging out of either side because you want a little piece on either side. And then now you can see them clipped back in. Now you do have these wires here that we left inside the clips. That's important because it's gonna be a secondary source of securing the bouquet. So you're going to take the wire and move it to one side where it connects with this other wire right here. and you will twist them into each other, just like that. So give it a nice twist up on the top, making sure that the wire is coming out the top there. See how you hold it? But make sure the wire comes out to the top. Now you can trim it. You don't want that to be, you know, facing the bottom because it can scratch. So now we have the ribbons in, we have the greenery in. We're ready to insert some of those flowers. You can see here that just like that, we have the base of it. And you can rock a bow if you want to. So don't want any flowers? Don't like the flowers? Make a bow corsage. They'll love you anyway. All right. Now we have our spray roses. We're gonna go ahead and collect the big open ones. You're going to pick off the outside petals, the grower petals, if necessary. See, nice big open petals, making sure they look beautiful. Take off the grower petals that may be bruised, that's okay. And collect around, you want about the same sizes. So trying to keep that in mind as you go, that you want around the same size openness in each of these to really complete the look. So I'm just cleaning those off for the growing petals. That one's a little small. I'm gonna go with this one, he's a little bigger. And then I'll kind of open those a little by running my fingers through the top of the petal just a little bit, very delicately. Don't want to bruise any of the petals. And if you need to, go ahead and reflex a petal or two if you'd like to. Just like that. It's gonna open it up a little bit, running your fingers through it. Okay, now these don't have a wire in them. We are just leaving this little green nub on there. Take your glue, put a little glue on the top right there. Put it back in your box so that it doesn't fall over with the cap on. And then we're going to take this and insert it into the center of our design and let it sit for a minute. You can hold it. You want it to get adhered to your design. Okay. If it's easier for you to work on the design on your wrist, go ahead and do that. If it's easier to work on it on the table, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and take your next one, do the same thing, making sure it's dry. See, not going anywhere. You have to make sure it's dry first if you're gonna do it this way. Then go ahead and place the next one in, just like that. You can see I'm inserting them in between the little flower loops, and I'm just gonna hold that for a second until it becomes nice and tacky and adheres to the ribbons. All right, go ahead and make the next piece. See, this is piece number 3. just like that. A little bit of glue. Making sure you put the glue back up. Go ahead and place the next one over here on this side. You can see that they're going in and out of the ribbons. And go for the next one if it's dry. Give it a little shake. And we're going to keep on going around, and we're going to put this one right over here in this ribbon section. Bubbly says hello. All right, now you can see it's forming this section over here, giving it a nice curve. Go ahead and put that on the bottom of the stem again. My wires are trying to jump in and play with us over here. There we go. Place it into the next side over here, just like that. You can see it's how it's going around. We're filling in the spots. And these ones were pretty small, so we might need a really big open one to really make this work. So that's why it helps to have multiple stems with different blossom sizes. And I'm just gonna open that one a little bit with my finger, so it's open just a little bit more. I did let these sit out just a little bit before using them, so it does help. Putting that on the stem, floral glue. Placing our next flower on this side over here where the opening is, right there. All right. And there you go. Now they go all the way around with that pointed center. And if you have some extra and you want another piece, go ahead and go for it. You really want to make sure that it goes all the way around. So I think we need one more right here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, so I think that looks more finished. And just putting the glue there, and we're gonna go ahead and place that right in here where you see I have that gap. I think that's gonna be the perfect fit for what we're looking for. Right there, see? And now it really truly is going all the way around there. Go ahead and give it a hold if it needs it. Maybe hydrate. Baby's breath if you'd like to use it. Go ahead and trim them into small pieces just like that, because they're just going to go in between the ribbons. And placing a small amount of glue on that little piece of stem, just like that. Be very careful, don't squeeze the bottle too far. And insert those in just like that. Using small pieces just like that. Placing that on the stem. Now go to the next side. We have a piece here. I'm going to put a piece over here. Just like that. can pull those little pieces through to the center. And then your next little piece. You can just keep going around like that as is needed till you feel like you've gotten a nice balance of the baby's breath into your corsage. So I'll put it on this side. The stem's a little bit longer, so you have to kind of see where the stems tend to fit. And just like that, placing one on this side over here between those stems. And just a small little piece here in the center. Kind of gotta decide what size to go with there. A little bit of glue. And then now you can use those pieces, small pieces here in the center of your design. Just like that. And there you go. That is how you make a corsage. The very last thing that you want to do with your corsage is make sure that you have given it a dance test. So now, give it one more second to dry. Blow it on it if you'd like to, or if you have a little fan nearby, go ahead. If you like the streamers, go ahead and keep them. If you like them to be a little shorter, go ahead and trim them. This is your design. Do what you like. I like mine trimmed up like that. Just like that. And now, let's dance. Jazz hands. See? Everything has stayed. Now go out there and boogie. Floral Design by Heidi again. I'm here to show you how to make a boutonniere. We're going to be using mini red roses. It has a nice appeal because it's not so heavy to wear and it can be worn on many different styles of fabric. So you'll need these beautiful mini spray roses. For our piece here, you're only going to need 2 pieces of roses. You'll need a little bit of the baby's breath. You'll need green tape, corsage tape, and you will also need thin wires and a pair of scissors. Additionally, if you would like nice clean lines on your boutonniere, a wrap on the bottom of them is a very nice touch to add to your design. So you would need a thin ribbon. I've chosen white because it's a very kind of classic combination. And you'll need a good spool amount because you're gonna go down the stem and back up the stem. Okay, so to start, you'll take the roses and you will pick the petals off of them. Set them aside to your other petals. Then you can take the next one and you can take off the grower petals and you have the next one. It really depends on how big you would like your boutonniere to be, where you can add different touches to it if you'd like this kind of half open bud. So you can make it a little pairing just like that and know that that will be your shape. Next, Now that you've selected your pieces for that, you're going to go ahead and put your wire through your stem. You don't need that much long stem on there, and you will fold it down the stem just like that. See? And then you will take the tape, kind of stretch it a little, hold it like that between the thumb and the index finger, and then roll it with your fingers, just like that. Holding it between those fingers, and let the tape and the rolling hand do the work for you, so that you're wrapping 3 of these beautiful mini roses. And then we need another wire. I'm gonna go ahead going through the head there, very gently, just like that. Pull it through, folding it down the stem, see? Tape, holding it between the thumb and the index finger, spin, allowing that to spin. You can see, you can even kind of hold the bottom piece and spin the top piece, so that again you're using thumb and index finger just like that, and it's rolling through the fingers. And it's easy to tear, you just tear the piece off. Then you have your next one. Gonna take the next wire, go ahead and stab that through the bottom there, just like that, see? Fold it down, tape, index finger and the thumb, rolling it between those fingers, holding it with the bottom half there, and as you can see, just keep spinning it and it will go down just like that for you. Now you have your 3 pieces together. So put them back in the arrangement that you like them in. I like to have the small buds on top and to the side, and the big bud to the left. You can bend the wires a little bit so you're forward facing those petals just like that, see? And then we're going to take them and we will wrap them starting at the bottom here. Just like that. And again, rolling it through your fingers all the way down. Now, for granary accents, there's 2 different things that you can do. You can add the rose leaf if you would like to. You will need to put the wire through it, or you can take the Israeli ruscus pieces and taking the granary off the bottom there and placing it where you'd like it in your bouquet, in your little boutonniere. You would then incorporate that just like that. You can still see that stem is long on the granary in the back, hanging out the back. And we're going to take the tape, starting at the bottom of the flowers again, wrapping around the back, and then spinning it through the index and the thumb. Just keep spinning it and slightly pulling the tape, holding it as you go. Really easy method there, just to spin them in between the fingers, just like that, and then give it a tear. Now we only need a small little sprig, so take that little lateral off. We're going to put those together just like that. Again, spin in between the fingers. There you go. And then now we don't need all that stem. We only need about that much. So go ahead and cut it just below that because we're going to turn up part of the stem to hold our ribbon. So we're going to take our ribbon, give a nice long piece. We start at the top. So face your boutonniere this way towards you. Line up your ribbon and hold it between the thumb and the index finger. And then twist your ribbon back towards you like that, making a little triangle there with the ribbon. And coming up and under the buds again, just like that. Wrapping it around itself again. See? And then go ahead and pull that tab back down. Those are going to be our anchoring strings. Go around that piece, so now it's tied in, see? Go around it once again. Spin it once again. And now we can start moving down the stem. Just like that, okay? So keep going down the stem. You want to make sure that the ribbon pieces are overlapping each other so you don't get little knots in there. And now we're coming towards the end of the stem. Wrap it all the way to the end. You'll see that green little piece just right there. This is how far down you should go. Go ahead and wrap that upwards, just like that. So you just take it from bending like this to bending like this. And then we're gonna go ahead and wrap that just like that. Going back up the stem, making tight rounds and lining up the ribbon so it looks nice and even as you're going back up. All the way till you're getting, see, to the top again, back by the flower petals, to the top, and then holding it tight. Make sure you hold it nice and tight, otherwise you do not get this look. Hold it nice and tight, and then go ahead and give it a nice long ribbon, and then you're going to go ahead and tie these into each other. You might grab a friend for this. If you have the dexterity, go ahead and do it on your own. Some of you I know will try to use your teeth. Don't tell the dentist, right? Go ahead and tie it just like that, like you're tying your shoe. Make the little knots nice and tight, just like that, okay? Make a secondary knot. You want them to be more towards the back of the little boutonniere. So, see, just like this. Make sure you have enough string to go around twice. You can put it down, of course. Give it another little tie. All right. And go ahead and trim your pieces down so the accents are smaller on the beautiful boutonniere. You also want to make sure that if you're doing this at home that you get your boutonniere pins, or you've collected a magnet for it. And make sure you always have 3 to 4 pins, so that you always have one extra. These are the boutonniere pins. If you have a heavier rose or a heavier style boutonniere, you're gonna need the big pins. These right here are gonna be the corsage pins. So go ahead and just gently press those into the side there for pinning those into the lapel later, which we'll be showing you how to do. So you can pin those onto your date, if they are so willing. There you go, and that is how you make your own boutonniere. As promised, I am going to show you how to put the boutonniere that you've made onto the lapel of the jacket. Now it should go on the left hand side of the jacket. That's important because it goes over the heart. Now modern day, it can be worn either side, but it is traditionally worn over the left hand side because it's close to the heart, and also because that is where the buttonhole of the jacket is at. So you're gonna go ahead, we have several pins here, take them out, set them somewhere safe. Don't forget about them, and most of all, don't sit on them. So you take the boutonniere, place it on the lapel, right into that corner. See how it fits there? Place one through the back side, just like that, and it will go into the stem, making sure that it doesn't come through the other side. Place one on the front side, behind the lapel, going through and into the back side of the boutonniere, making sure to hold it, watch your finger, from both sides, so that way it doesn't wiggle. Now you are given 3 pins. Go back from the other side and go ahead and go up this way into the stem and secure that so it doesn't come out either side. This is going to hold the last piece for you. Now if you've done a magnet, you have none of this work to do. Simply place the magnet. And that is how you pin a boutonniere. Demonstrate how you put the corsage on. In modern day times, you can wear them on the left or you can wear it on the dominant side, whichever side, but traditionally it is worn on the left. So you're going to go ahead and they'll stretch the band and place that gently over the wrist and right at the wrist bone connection there. And now you are ready to go. This evening is how to store your corsage and your boutonniere once they have been made. So if you'd like, you're going to get a little sneak peek in my refrigerator. Don't judge me. Important things about storing your boutonniere and your corsage for your event. You're going to want to keep them in the refrigerator, but you do not want them in a drawer, and you do not want them at the back of the refrigerator because, kind of like milk, it will ice over. So, go with me into the refrigerator. The best place for the corsage and boutonniere, if they are not in a bag and you've made them at home because you don't have these containers, so be it, place them on the shelf in a nice safe place towards the front of the refrigerator. It's important the front because, like I said, you get that milk back there and it gets too crowded, what happens? Freezes over. So this right here, this lovely home above my strawberries, this shelf, not a drawer and not the back of the refrigerator, is where and how you should store your boutonniere and your corsage before you go to use it for your evening. To go ahead and show you how to make the beautiful tablescape with the arrangements that you've made, either the tall cylinder or possibly the bud vase. And maybe if you have just the votive candle and those ingredients that we listed for you below in the blog, you can see how you can compose that even without necessarily going for an arrangement style. We have the table right over here, lined up the table for you. I'm going to show you that you can create this tablescape, very simple one with just a votive, a battery votive. That's important because nice not to have any real fire, and make sure that's, safety first. And cute little votive jar here, if you have one. If not, also looks very cute, okay? Just very simple setups, something to add that extra touch the evening. We added some of the acrylic rocks that we used. We saved some of those petals from when we did the corsage with the miniature roses. Spread those out, and then we also kept some of the petals from when we peeled the petals back on our beautiful bud vase. So this here is the first style that you would do. I'm going to spread around the small petals, go back over with the big petals, and just kind of place those around. If you have some of those heads left over from any of your extra spray roses stems, you're going to go ahead and use those. And then just sprinkle the rocks in between. If you have a glass table, make sure you're setting them down easily. Okay, next. So after this one, you can exchange one idea for the other. You can go ahead and place this down if you'd like to. And you can see how that composition kind of comes together in the table. It's reflecting the light, it's bringing some of the crystals out. You can choose not to use those elements if you would like. Taking those out, and you can see you get kind of a different feel. Not as much reflecting if you want to. So you can see one side has the rocks and one side now doesn't. You can also incorporate two of those little votives, one on each side, reflecting all those little pieces. If you want to incorporate those or not is up to you. And you can kind of be gentle with those pieces, and you can see how that would come together there. Next, you can take out this one and instead exchange it for that lovely bud vase arrangement that we made. Setting that in the middle, using the two votives or choosing to take them out. You can use the rocks or you can take them out. So you can see how this looks with just petals. Depends on your budget or how you want to utilize those together. You can see now one side has rocks and one side does not. So you can decide what of those things looks best to you in design, and whether or not you like to include those motives or not to include. So very simply, there you have prom and date night for this coming prom season. If you're going out, please have a beautiful and a safe time. And if you're staying in, please enjoy your evening, add the extra touches. It's easy when you're doing these DIY yourself because you're gonna have a little extra in the supplies if you decide to do this.